All right, so we're here with Bobby and Roger Roos, who a little while back they built a road course late model car that's going to be running at Barber Motorsports Park in Birmingham. So why don't y'all just tell us a little bit about that and how that came to be?
Well, back in 2017, all the way back to 2005, even 2003 with Roger, we ran road racing late models with a couple of touring series. One was out of Florida, one was out of Virginia. And we did that all the way up until 2017, and we sold both of those cars to go run a Trans Am professional series. And we were going to trade off that car. He'd run it once, I'd run it once. And what we found with that is you really needed a lot more people than we had, and a lot more time was involved with that. And so we eventually sold that car, but we missed doing that because we always had a blast doing it. We were always right together. We had different chassis, different motors, but we were always on the track together. So I reached out to our Round Track Chassis Manufacturing, which is Grand American Race Cars and Augie Grill, and I kind of threw a challenge to him and said, hey, we'd like to get back into this road racing thing with late models. It's a car we understand. It's a car we have backup parts for. And, Roger's been running late models for how many years? I don't know, all the way back to the 90s.
Since 2001. Yeah.
2001, yeah. So he put some pen to paper and he played around with the engineering and he figured out how to change his jig to add a road racing chassis. He built two of them for us. We now have both of them in the shop. We just need one set of coated headers for my car. We
took it to Barber's and tested, and both of us got to run it, as well as Augie, who built the car. And it was fast. It was a lot of fun to run. And the guy that built it went faster than both of us. Yeah. So we're like, well, we got to drive that thing a little harder. So.
What were some of those differences that had to be made to adapt it to be a road course car?
Well, with the cars that we had been road racing and the cars that we get from Augie for our round track stuff, the chassis is offset, okay? And so the motor's offset and the A-frames are a different size and the middle of the rear end, the center part of the rear end is not really centered. And so he had to redo the points on that chassis jig to get a full square chassis car. So in other words, our front A-frames are now the same length.
So when will you be running this car and in what series?
Well, we're gonna run it with SCCA. The class that we ran with years ago with Butch Coomer has disbanded. But it ran inside of SCCA, which is the Sports Car Club of America. And so we're gonna run with that class in the GT2.
And GTA.
And sometimes GTA, correct. And they run Barbers in September or sometimes August, depending on when it falls. But I know that we have a mid-June race that will be in Road America, and then there's a race in Daytona, and then we also have an option to go to Watkins Glen up in New York, and Road Atlanta in November as well.
Do you see this as something that's going to be happening, like you're going to race this car more in the future? Or is this just a once or twice a year,
Well, you can, with SCCA, you can go all over the country. So over the last, 10 years, we've gotten to run at COTA, Circuit of the Americas, Daytona. We've run at Charlotte on the road course, Road America, Mid-Ohio, just many places. I mean, Road Atlanta, Road America.
Sebring in New Orleans.
Sebring. So there's club racing almost every weekend all over the country. And it's club racing. You're not running for money, you're running for trophies. And it's a lot more fun. Like there's been times where we've taken this hauler with two cars and our one crew member. Yeah. And three of us handle two cars. But it's more of a laid back thing. You run a couple times a day and then, a practice, and then it might be a couple hours till you get on the track again. So it's not as, constant. You got time when you can sit back and work on the car or relax. It's still a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, because it's more of a club thing, two old guys. We don't need to be running with the kids that are running the Trans Am series,
Well, I believe that answers all my questions about it. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Absolutely.